What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network for the 10 best new cards out of the newest Pokemon TCG set, Sword and Shield Fusion Strike. In today's video, I'll be going over my top 10 cards from the new set, but I also want to hear from you, so let me know in the comments down below what your very favorite card from Fusion Strike is. Before we get into my top 10 countdown, shout out to my sponsors, PotownStore.com, the best place to get PTCGO codes, and also CardTrooperGames.com, where you can get physical card products like booster boxes and single cards from Fusion Strike. Use code CELIO for 5% off at both of those sites, and you can find all of my standard format deck lists over at PokemonCard.io. First, we're starting out with an honorable mention, as Gengar VMAX alternate art is my favorite art from the Sword and Shield Fusion Strike expansion set. We don't talk about the illustrations of the cards much on this channel. We're typically talking about how to play with the cards, but this art is so flipping cool. Gengar Gigantamax sucking up all the trees and the fruits and everything, kind of reminding me of Snorlax Gigantamax a little bit. The whole earth and tree vibe kind of looks like Snorlax's belly. But Gengar Gigantamax, such a cool Pokemon. Gengar has to be one of the raddest Pokemon in the whole franchise, and this art is just amazing, and I hope to get one eventually, maybe pull one out of a pack for my collection at some point. I did get the Mew alternate art, which is also very cool, the Mew VMAX alt art. But enough about Gengar VMAX's alternate art in Fusion Strike. Let's move on to my top 10 cards of the set. At number 10, we've got Dragapult. Dragapult is a Stage 2 Fusion Strike Pokemon. Fusion Strike is a new emblem in the Fusion Strike set, go figure. Dragapult has 150 HP and is Psychic type. And its main attack here is Fusion Strike Assault. Fusion Strike Assault does 30 damage for just one Psychic Energy. 30 damage times the amount of your Fusion Strike Pokemon in play, including this Dragapult in the active spot. So that can do 180 damage for just one energy, and not even including that Fusion Strike Pokemon have Power Tablet at their disposal, which we'll get to in a little bit, spoiler alert. But yeah, so 180 on a single price Pokemon for just one energy is very, very good. So Dragapult here at my number 10 spot. This is kind of the copium spot. Dragapult, Stage 2 Pokemon don't really get out there into the active spot to attack much in our current standard format. They're usually chilling on the bench like Ludicolo or Inteleon. But I have just a little bit of hope for Dragapult. Number 10 hope, not like number 5 or number 4. It's still lower in the list, but it made it up here, and that's what matters. Number 9 is that Gengar VMAX. We looked at the alternate art for him, but I figured we'd slap up the regular art for Gengar VMAX here for the number 9 spot, because this art's also very cool. I'm a huge Gengar fan, but this one also is very cool. But we're not talking about the art here. Gengar VMAX is on the number 10 spot for its playability. Gengar VMAX is a single strike dark type VMAX Pokemon with 320 HP. And it has two good attacks. Fear and Panic does 60 damage for each of your opponent's V and GX in play for 2 dark energy. Now, there are some things to take into account here. Those dark energies can be satisfied by single strike energies, which add 20 damage to that Pokemon's attacks. So if both of those darks are single strike energies, then Gengar VMAX's attacks are doing plus 40 damage. Also, a negative to take into effect here is that Pokemon GX are no longer in our standard format, so there are less targets to be buffing the damage of Fear and Panic. I think this is a much better card in Japan's format, which has not rotated out the tag teams yet, but it's still decent here. It's just not amazing, which is why it's lower on the top 10 list, but still on the top 10 list. And then GMAX Swallow Up for 3 dark energy does 250, and next turn this Pokemon can't attack, but that's okay because 250, a lot of damage. Also, like I mentioned, single strike energies add damage to that, so this could even be doing like 310 if you have 3 single strike energies on it. Something to note is that this is a single strike dark Pokemon just like Umbreon VMAX is, but it has fighting weakness, whereas Umbreon has grass weakness, so this could make up for that grass weakness potentially by having a different weakness to offer to the deck. Next at number 8, we have Cross Switcher. Cross Switcher is an item card that also has the Fusion Strike emblem. So any cards that say Fusion Strike card would include Cross Switcher, like the Smeargle from this set that can retrieve Fusion Strike trainers from the discard pile. This item reads, you must play 2 Cross Switcher cards at once. This effect works one time for playing the 2 cards. You cannot play this card one at a time. When you play 2 of it, switch one of your opponent's benched Pokemon with their active Pokemon, and if you do, switch your active Pokemon with one of your benched Pokemon. So if you've played since the Sun and Moon era, you might know the card Guzma, or even if you play Expanded, you'll know the card Guzma. So we get to gust up an opponent's benched Pokemon just like Boss's Orders does, and then we also switch our Pokemon, but we get to switch the Pokemon. Now, what's neat about this is you do have to play 2 of them at once, so that's a little harder to do, but it's not taking up your supporter for turn like Boss's Orders does. So an Inteleon with Shady Dealings could just go and fetch both of these at the same time, and you can play a supporter that turn. So I do think Cross Switcher will make its way into some decks in the standard format. At number 7, I have Latias, which is a Fusion Strike Pokemon. And although Latias is a smaller Pokemon, 120 HP, it has a bit of a weird attack cost. The Dyna Barrier attack for Fire, Psychic, Colorless does 70, and next turn prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from Pokemon VMAX. Now, most of the format is made up of strong VMAX Pokemon or decks focusing around strong VMAX Pokemon. So Latias walls off damage from a ton of Pokemon. Latias might be able to be played on its own with a combination of the Latios. They allow you to accelerate energy to each other, but I think it'll really shine as a Pokemon for Mew VMAX to copy, since Mew VMAX can copy the attacks of any of your Fusion Strike Pokemon on the bench. At number 6, we have Fusion Strike Energy. A lot of Fusion Strike cards on this top 10 list, but it is for the Sword and Shield Fusion Strike set, so it only makes sense. Fusion Strike Energy counts as a Rainbow Energy while attached to a Fusion Strike Pokemon, and it can only be attached to a Fusion Strike Pokemon. While it is attached to a Pokemon, prevent all effects of your opponent's Pokemon's abilities done to the Pokemon this card is attached to. So not only is it providing Rainbow Energy for some very strong Pokemon from the newest set, it can also be accelerated with the new Elisa Sparkle supporter card from Fusion Strike. It also prevents abilities to affect your Pokemon that have this energy on it. So Inteleon from Chilling Reigns Quick Shooting, and even the new Inteleon's, I believe it's called Double Gunner ability, cannot affect your Fusion Strike Pokemon that have Fusion Strike energy on them. So a really good card for some really good Pokemon. At number 5, I have Basculin, and you might be thinking, wait, this is a common fish. It's common rarity, a common 80 HP fish with the Rapid Strike emblem on it. I've been waiting for this Basculin for a while. I think it's very good. Basculin has 1 attack, Swarm the Wound, for water colorless. It does 30 damage plus 10 more for each damage counter already on your opponent's active Pokemon. So if you hit your opponent with a Gale Thrust from Rapid Strike Urshifu, or with Rapid Strike Inteleon VMAX's attack for 140, and then you Swarm the Wound does 30 plus 10 more for each already on the defending. So let's say it's following a Gale Thrust. That means Swarm the Wound would do 180 damage to that Pokemon and clean up the knockout. For a single attachment of a Rapid Strike energy. So I think this card's very good. Don't sleep on it. It's great in Rapid Strike decks. At number 4, we have Power Tablet, which is a card I talked about earlier. It's essentially an Electro Power if you were around for that card, but for Fusion Strike Pokemon as opposed to Lightning Pokemon. It is an item card that reads, during this turn, your Fusion Strike Pokemon's attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. You can play 1 of this. You can play 3 or 4 of this all at one time. So you can play them throughout your turn and they all stack up. And then at the end of that turn, the attack you use from a Fusion Strike Pokemon does 30 more damage. So it can help you reach some one-shots that otherwise would not be possible with attacks like Genesect V's attack that does 210 damage. If you draw into all 4 of your Power Tablets, that's doing 330 damage out of nowhere. So Power Tablet can definitely change some games. Number 3 is Inteleon VMAX, this new Rapid Strike Inteleon VMAX, another card I'm very excited about. It has the ability Double Gunner. You must discard a water energy from your hand to use this ability, and then you may choose 2 of your opponent's benched Pokemon and put 2 damage counters on each of them. So that's spreading 40 damage across 2 Pokemon. And if you have multiple of these Inteleon VMAXs, you can use multiple Double Gunners a turn. So you can spread maybe even 80 or 120 damage across your opponent's bench with these Double Gunners. And it does have 1 attack, GMAX Spiral for water colorless. It does 70, and then you put an energy attached to this Pokemon into your hand. If you do, it does 70 more, so it can do 140, and you return a Rapid Strike energy to your hand, and you get hit, and then you Cheryl the damage, and then you just keep repeating this GMAX Spiral with the same Rapid Strike energy. So I think this card's going to be played a lot. I think it's going to be very good, and I'm quite excited to start playing with it myself. Number 2 is Mew VMAX, the poster card of the set, only at number 2. This happened in the last set too. Rayquaza VMAX was the poster card of Evolving Skies. I put it at number 2. It turns out it shouldn't have even been on the top 10 list. And Umbreon VMAX was at number 1. Hopefully Mew VMAX doesn't have the same fate as Rayquaza did from my last top 10 video. So Mew VMAX is a Fusion Strike Pokemon, and its Cross Fusion attack costs 2 colorless, and you can choose any attack from one of your benched Fusion Strike Pokemon and use it as this attack. That's what I was saying. You can copy that Latias, and it also has the Max Miracle attack for 2 Psychic Energy. It does 130, and it goes through effects. Also note that Mew has free retreat, but Cross Fusion Strike is going to be copying a different attack more often, and that's going to be the Techno Blast attack from our number 1 card, Genesect V. Genesect V I have ranked higher than Mew because it actually is what's going to make Mew VMAX a good card in the first place. Genesect V is a Fusion Strike V Pokemon with the ability Fusion Strike System. Once during your turn, you may draw cards until you have as many cards in your hand as you have Fusion Strike Pokemon in play. If you have 6 Fusion Strike Pokemon in play and 4 of them are Genesect V, you can draw 6 cards, or until you have 6 cards, play your hand down, do it again and draw until you have 6 cards, play your hand down, do it again until you have 6 cards. It just allows so much card draw. This ability is amazing, and it has a very good attack. Techno Blast for Metal Colorless does 210 damage, and then next turn this Pokemon can't attack. But that's fine for Mew VMAX copying it because Mew VMAX has free retreat, so it could just switch into a different attacker or retreat and then switch back out into that same Mew VMAX and attack again. So this Genesect V rounding out our top 10 list at the number 1 card that you want to get your hands on out of Fusion Strike. And remember, if you're shopping for physical cards, go to cardtrooper.com, cardtroopergames.com, and if you're shopping for ptcgo codes, potownstore.com. Look for my standard format lists being updated next week on PokemonCard.io, and be sure to subscribe to this channel for daily Pokemon TCG content. Thanks for watching, have a great day, and I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.